Hello and welcome to Delectably Different in the Kitchen. So if you're not a follower on my blog, then you do not know what my blog's about. If you do follow my blog, then you'll know that what I try to do is take traditional recipes like chocolate cake, vanilla cake, caramel macchiato, cupcakes, and make them a little healthier by giving you a selection of gluten-free, vegan, sometimes even sugar-free options. Today, I'm bringing you what I call the perfect gluten-free chocolate cake. So where do we start? Okay, we've got gluten-free flour, regular sugar, organic brown sugar. We're also gonna have my dark cocoa. You have to, if you're gonna do the perfect chocolate cake, you wanna be dark and nice and rich. So we've got a dark cocoa. We have one of my favorite, sugar-free, even though we're not doing a sugar-free cake, these are the chocolate chips to have. Lily's brand dark chocolate chips. If you are on a diet and you're looking to do like a sugar-free option, we can look at that. We have some options on the blog, delectablydifferentkitchen.blogspot.com. What you can do is actually use xylitol or one of your other alternative sugars. Stay away from the bad stuff. You know what you are. You know you're out there. But these right here actually use stevia, which can be a little bitter, but this right here honestly is great, yummy. I actually had to keep all the production crew away from them. I slapped their hands, get away. We also have the xanthan gum. We have our baking soda, baking powder, Himalayan salt, it's nice and pink, look at that, it's pretty. And we also have our vanilla. So let's get to where we're starting. So we always start in our bowl with our 1 cup of sugar, our ½ cup of brown sugar, and we're gonna just, we're gonna marry them together. We're gonna just mix them together. And they're nice and happy. They're nice and happy in there. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is add in our gluten-free flour. You're not gonna get that traditional powdery white flour that you normally are used to. So you can be used to clumps. I actually, once I start opening my bag, I keep it rolled up and I keep it in the freezer because I just find it stays better that way. And you also are gonna find that it might clump up a little bit. It's perfectly fine. You're gonna be good with that. And we're gonna have our xanthan gum. And actually I just spilled it on the counter. It's okay. What we're gonna do is put that in there as well. You'll find that it gets kind of like glue-like if you get it wet and it gets sticky on your hand. It's okay, that's what it does. It actually provides back into that cake that kind of rich gooiness that the gluten would normally do if you're using regular flour. So that's why it's essential. We're gonna add that in. Like I said, we're gonna have our baking soda, baking powder in there. And we're also gonna add our salt. So we're also gonna add in our cocoa. And we're gonna just mix that all in together. All right, so we've got all of the dry ingredients right here together. So it's all nice and happy, mixed together. We're gonna set it to the side for now. So we're gonna grab the melted butter, which is freshly melted off the oven. So this place smells amazing right now. Perfect little bowl. This is a must-have. You gotta have this. Then we're gonna add in our tablespoon of vanilla, like I said, over flavor, that's the key. We're gonna add in 2 eggs, preferably, cage-free, free-range organic. Again, try to be clean here. And we're also gonna add in our newly made buttermilk. So you can whisk it together, you can do what you want. Actually, with this ingredient, what I really like is you don't have to use a mixer. If you want to, if you're lazy, you can. You can. I'm not judging. I don't judge. But what you can do is all by hand. It's really nice. So we got everything pretty much mixed together here. And I'm not really clean in the kitchen, so if you have OCD, you better skip. Just click skip because you're not gonna be happy. So we're gonna add the wet ingredients in with the dry ingredients. That's generally what happens. And we're just gonna stir that together. And what you're gonna find while you're stirring, and this is for someone who, if you choose to use a mixer, it's not so much with the chocolate cake, but some of the other cakes that you might find on the blog, is once you start using the mixer, once you get to this point where you're adding in the dry ingredients with the liquid ingredients, you are gonna have like a gummy mess. Because what happens is that xanthan gum really takes action and it gets sticky. So what I normally do if I do choose to use a mixer is I actually will mix it for pretty much the first 2 portions of dry and wet ingredients, but then I choose to hand mix the rest of it because otherwise your mixer gets really gunked up and it's really hard to do. And some mixers, I have broken 2 now, doesn't stand up to that. So, you know, one of those situations is to just mix it, wait until you're kind of down to that last bit, and then just fold in the rest. So we're gonna get this all mixed up. You wanna make sure that you get all the bottom because the gluten-free flours and the xanthan gum sometimes likes to kind of stick to the bottom. I prefer like a stainless steel bowl because you actually can mix it quite easily. Not everybody has them at home, but I choose them because they're also quite manly as well. So the other thing we're gonna add, a lot of my cakes that I do, I always put in a little bit of chocolate chips. So we're gonna fold in the chocolate chips. And what you'll find is it starts getting really dry and it's kind of like, how is this gonna work? You know, how are we going to get this to where it's actually a cake batter and not like gunk, you know, because you can kind of see, no. So what do? We're actually gonna take our, I'm all about reusing. It's okay, again, it's already been used. Hot water, freshly hot water. And we're gonna do a cup of hot water. Now, it's kind of nice to make sure that it's already done, that way you don't have to wait for it to get hot because what do they say, a watch pot never boils. So, you know, you wanna make sure you have it done ahead of time. Just pour it right in there. And you're gonna like hand mix this for maybe a couple minutes. So we've got it all mixed up now. And now you'll see, again, with the gluten-free flours, it's not too thick, you know, too thick now. It's just perfect. We're gonna get our pans. Again, we're using 2 9-inch round pans. When you start putting the batter in, I'm not someone that measures it out. You know, this again is why if you have any kind of issues with making sure everything's perfect, then you shouldn't probably be watching me do this. So we're just gonna scoop part of it in there, and then we're gonna move on, and we're gonna scoop the rest. So what we do is we're gonna add the butter into the bowl. We're gonna whip it to where it's nice and fluffy. Then we're gonna add in a cup of powdered sugar, whip that in, followed by the extracts and the cocoa. Once we have those added in, we'll add 1 more cup of sugar. We will then add whatever small amount of the heavy whipping cream we might need to add to thin it out, and then followed by the last bit of powdered sugar and the salt. So let's get started on that and we'll see how it goes. Well, you'll know if you try it out yourself. So if you visit my blog, delectablydifferentkitchen.blogspot.com, and check out the chocolate cake recipe, you'll know for yourself. Thank you.